I'm here today with Steve Keen, Professor of Economics at University of Western Sydney in Australia, to discuss his revised and expanded edition of his book, Debunking Economics. Steve, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Debunking Economics,
Yep.
put out by Zed Books in Europe, will be available in the United States on Amazon.com.
Yep, it's already, you can actually even do pre-orders there right now, which I'm pleased to see.
The Naked Emperor Dethroned.
The first edition, which I wrote back in 2000, I called Debunking Economics, the Naked Emperor of the Social Sciences. And I wrote the book at that stage because I could feel a crisis was coming. And I thought somebody had to explain why economics was so totally useless in understanding what was about to come. Then when it happened, I needed to get my thoughts back out there again, and the editors suggested, why not the Naked Emperor Dethroned? Because certainly if anybody deserves to be thrown off their throne after the financial crisis, it's the economics profession.
When you take apart the economics profession in the book, what are the examples you use? What are the main themes you zoom in on?
Yeah. Well, I think economics starts from this belief you can explain everything by two intersecting lines, supply and demand. Of course, the elaborate versions of the theory don't have that simplistic foundation to it, but that's the introduction that students get. And it's possible to show in this, with some of the simplest logic you can imagine, that those two intersecting lines don't work. It simply is not how a market system, even an isolated single market, can behave. And that a large part of that critique has been part of the economic literature since, I think, either 1956 or 53, when it was first proved by a very staunch neoclassical economist, Gorman, that you could not aggregate two individuals with whose demand curves individually derived had all the right properties and get a market demand curve that looked anything like it, unless you assumed they were clones of each other and they were buying products which were also clones of each other. So the flaws in the theory are so deep and so fundamental, but it's put across at a simple level that appears plausible to students when they first take it on. So what I'm doing is going below the plausible level, looking at the simple and showing it doesn't work. And it shouldn't be as easy as it is for me to deconstruct economics in the way that I've done. But unfortunately, it is possible.
Now, later in the book, you talk about having seen the crisis coming.
Yeah.
And I know there was an award given, I know Professor Bessemer and others compiled information, and you were one of the winners of the award for the people who had seen the crisis coming.
Yeah, that was a surprise. Because I started warning of the crisis back in December 2005, but I started making those warnings in Perth, Australia. And I knew I was making a big noise in Australia and being heard over there, but this was an international award run by a group called the Real World Economics Review, which is operated by an American based in England, large readership and membership by mainly economists in America.
Is that formerly the Post-Autistic?
Yeah, the Post-Autistic Economics Review became the Real World Economics Review.
And then it was a Dean Baker, I think, was one of the other nominees.
Yeah, the way it was worked, they first had what they called the Dynamite Award, which is given to the economist most responsible for blowing up the global economy. Of course, position number one went to Alan Greenspan, and then having done a destructive award, they thought, well, let's have a positive one. The Real World Review's board came down to 12 people they finally nominated, which included, as well as the three eventual winners, myself, Rubini and Baker. There was Ann Pettifor's, I think Wynne Godley was in there, Michael Hudson, Peter Schiff, Robert Schiller, I think Stiglitz was there, and out of those 12 people, those were the ones you could cast a vote for.